here. So thank you so much, every 3 and 4 star diamond, for jumping on today. I have Melissa Gallamay. Obviously, as you see, internet wasn't working, so would have froze too many times, but she is on the phone. So basically, as you know, I did promote it, and I did let you know that she is a 5-star diamond. She's from Northern California. She's a mama of 3 and has an amazing husband. And like I said, they live in Northern California. And she's been working this business for quite some time, and she knows exactly how to make herself and her business very successful. So with that being said, do you mind, Melissa, going ahead and telling us a little bit about yourself, and then just going right into your topics?
Yeah, so thank you guys, and thanks for letting me improvise. I'm not even going to try to get back. I mean, I want to be able to see your guys' faces, but I'm not even going to try to rely on that, because I live in Northern California, and AT&T reception always seems to fail me, especially on calls like this. But first of all, thank you, Britt, for the opportunity. I always enjoy being able to serve and give back to the network, because this business truly has transformed my life. Just a little background on me. On paper, you could say that my life would have looked like somebody who wasn't going anywhere fast, and I really didn't have any big goals for myself. I was seriously committed to working for someone else for the rest of my life. And when I was growing up, I dealt with a lot of addiction, really emotional issues, depression. And at 21, I got clean off of drugs and had my first son. Like Brittany said, I have an amazing husband that I know God placed in my life to really help me through all of those hardships. And together we have 3 children. We've been married for 10 years. And I stumbled into this business. I was not looking for an opportunity. But like most of us, we probably can relate to this. I kept seeing someone show up in my news feed. And the thing that was really inspiring me is that she was really real, and she was extremely vulnerable. And she talked about the things that I had went through in my life because they had happened in her life. And she made me feel like I could relate to her. And so after stalking her for 13 months and really stalking her upline, which is my upline, we're Diesel Nation. So Becky and Christina, I fell in love with this opportunity and the ability to dream, because I had come from abandonment. I had come from addiction. I come from a long line of quitting. And while I always worked really hard in my job, which I think is one of my strengths, I've always been driven. I didn't graduate from high school. So I was climbing the corporate ladder, but really I was giving myself away to my job and not having anything for my family. So this opportunity really saved me. I was looking for, a way to lose weight, because I had done diet pills, the weight loss soups, wraps, everything. So I came in with a desire to lose weight, and along the way I gained life. And like I said, it's my honor to be able to give back to the network, because it has given me so much. And I don't feel hopeless like I did when I came in. I feel like I have an opportunity to really impact people's lives. And I know that the trials and the tribulations that I faced, they weren't for anything. And that, God needs me now to go out and serve people with my testimony. And although I am a baby Christian, I feel so deeply to serve him, but also this network. I'm just so grateful for the mentors that I've had. And so I want to roll right into my first topic. I'm going to go through 3 different things. And the first one is, how do I find joy in this business? Because at times, guys, it can get challenging, right? We have children to raise. I've been home for this summer will be 3 years. I replaced my full-time income. No longer work 45 plus hours with a 3-hour commute for someone else. Like, I'm home with my kids all the time. And that can be trying at times. It can also be exhausting when you feel like you're running at all cylinders, and like sometimes feel like you're dragging people along, and you're like beating your head against the wall. Like, what am I doing wrong? Or am I even making a difference? But I always go back to why I got started, right? I was hopeless. I was looking for a way out of feeling like stuck and sad. And I want that for other people. I want other people to know that there's a different way to get out of the hustle and bustle. And you know what, guys, let's just be honest. Not everybody's going to lean in the way that some of us do. And it's okay to have a full-time job and work this business as a side hustle. That's okay. Meet people where they're at, but also let them know what's possible. So I always go back to why I got started. And that was it was to be home with my kids. Like, I was tired of dropping my kids off to school when they were sick and hoping that the school would call me because I didn't have time to have someone cover my shift, or I felt like it was inconveniencing my employer, or being that mom who's like, get your shoes, why isn't your homework done? Like, grab your, like, running out the door because I didn't want to be late for work. Like, I was done. And so even on the hardest days when things get challenging, like, this business brought me home. And I am so, so, so grateful for that. And I want that for other people. So it's my mission to serve. My next point in that is how I'm finding joy is I'm constantly being a student. Like, I am leaning in and finding new ways to learn and grow in this business. And there's over 400,000 of us. Everybody drinks Shakeology. Everybody works out. Everybody eats clean. But you have something unique about you that you can really master that gift and share that with others. So, I mean, I'm on podcasts. I am listening to personal development books. I'm going to any type of live event I can get to. I'm looking for opportunities to partner with corporate so I can host things like that in my area, because there's not a lot of people, that are business building the way that my vision is for this area. So I bring those opportunities to us. The other thing is listening to people, like really getting to know people. Like, I find so much joy in understanding where people came from and really getting to know who they are. So leaning in and getting to know, like, your upline, your downline, your sideline, like, everyone is equal. And no matter what team we lie on, we are Team Beachbody, and we are on a mission to serve, help people live healthy and fulfilling lives and achieve their goals. And that doesn't just mean with weight loss. And I know you guys know that, so I'm preaching to the choir, but maybe somebody on your team doesn't recognize that. And so how do we as leaders rise up and help them see that it's not about the selfies. It's really about the relationships, and it's helping people seek this opportunity and then look for ways to collaborate with people. Like, last night I did a combination team call with Cozy Folsom. We would have never had that opportunity to do together. And now we're thinking of how we can help our upcoming leaders get comfortable with hosting calls. Like, I love collaborating with other leaders in this business, people who I can learn from, because it's fun. Like, I have fun. So constantly being a student. Let's see. Okay, so the last piece of finding joy is protecting your energy. It's okay to say no to stuff. And I used to be somebody who felt like I had to do everything all the time. I had to check in with every single challenger every single day. I had to drag my coaches along, even though they had all the same tools as I did, and I was empty. And at the end of last year, 2017, I mean, by a show of hands, I don't know if anybody else can contest that 2017 was a hard year. I mean, it was rough. And we missed Elite by I had one of my top leaders leave and go to another company, which really shook me. And I also missed it by a couple points. We could have totally locked in Premier, but the rank, last minute, it didn't work. And you know what? That's okay. That's okay, because I learned so much more about my team in that time. And instead of laying down and saying this business sucks and it's broken, and if Carl would just figure out something else and did it, guys, this business, I didn't sign up to become an elite coach. And that's when I say always go back to my why, is humble yourself in those moments. My income took a dip last year. Guess what? I'm still earning more and being home with my kids full time and not paying someone else to take care of my children. So that's not something I go into the round table or the wall behind the wall and complain about. It isn't. It's not. There may be moments where I'm like, oh crap, I got to figure this out. But guess what? I have control over this business. And how do I do that? I go seek new people. I'm always looking for new opportunities to build this business. Or even, I'll be vulnerable and say that there was a moment where I had a small paycheck. I reached out to Brittany and I was like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. And I also reached out to Milan Jensen, who's the #1 coach in the network. I'm so blessed to have her right in my backyard. She was, when I say #1 coach, like she was #1. Like Carl was like, hey, I have this idea. She's amazing. And I reached out to her and had a one-on-one with her. And then I reached out to Becky and I reached out to Christina. And all 3 of them, I trust tremendously. And they all said, hang tight, keep doing what you're doing, keep showing up, do not freak out. We're going to get through this. And I trust them. So I didn't freak out, and I kept going, and I kept moving, and I kept seeking ways to find joy every single day. Nobody can create that for you. There's other hard stuff in this world. People battling cancer, people losing children, people getting divorced. I mean, really awful, horrible things other than somebody telling you no or quitting this business. So perspective. So the next part I want to go is, how do I market go-getters? Give me 1 second, please. Hey. Sorry, I have 2 labs and one is like driving me crazy. She's like barking.
You're fine. Hey, question real quick, Melissa.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions on that? Like, that's a big topic that I know every single one of my 3 and 4 star diamonds have been asking, is like how to find the joy. Is there anything that you wanted to ask her in addition to that, or anything that you wanted to share on behalf of that? No?
I just wanted to give some, just like, that was really awesome and kind of confirmation, because I'm a little bit new, like I haven't been doing this for a lot of years, but even for my new coaches, you know, it's so easy for them to get discouraged in the very, very beginning when they're getting all these no's because they don't know how to talk about it yet. And I think it's so powerful. I just shared with them, you know, we hear so many coaches that have said, so-and-so reached out to me and said, thank you, because of you, I didn't take my life. Like I remember hearing those stories at Summit and being like, oh my gosh, like this is really so powerful. And so just kind of like along the lines of what you were saying and keeping your perspective right, that you may get 100 or 1,000 no's, but if you get that one message that's like, because of you, I kept living, it's all worth it. You know, so I thought that's so powerful what you're saying and keeping our perspective on the right things. Anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to piggyback on that, because I have that written down, I wanted to highlight that, is celebrating those wins. And even if it's not, I mean, I got so much pride in celebrating somebody's first paycheck that was like $15 last week. Like, we don't know how that's going to impact someone's life, or somebody being able to get off of blood pressure medication, or a girl who literally told me she was ready to kill herself and that this opportunity saved her. Like, that is priceless to me. And so I really, like, last year when we had such that heavy year, like, I didn't let it steal my joy, because I feel like, I mean, hands down, we have the greatest opportunity on earth. And it's amazing to me why people would not want to do it. Even my cousin and I were driving to Super Saturday the other day, and she's newer to the business, and she's like, I just feel like you would still do this even if you didn't get paid. And I would. And I want people to feel like that, because I love this business so, so, so deeply. Side story, 2 weeks ago tomorrow, my account on Facebook was hacked. Like, they took over, they changed my passwords, they changed the profile picture. I was emailing Facebook and they're like, oh, thanks for the feedback, we'll contact the owner of the account. Like, no, you're contacting the hacker. Anytime someone from my team would go in and try to warn, like in a challenge group or my team page, they were archiving it. So like, I lost everything. 4 years of building. And yes, I have a tracking system where I could get some of those people back, but just like everybody, people slip through the cracks. And so I had a decision to make. I could either sit there and be like upset and frustrated. I went on my Insta stories and like told people, hey, go unfriend this account. And then I just went and made a new one. And it really was hard because I lost all those memories that I could look back and see like how my children evolved and how this business has grown. But I made a decision that I was going to find like the silver lining and the rainbow at the end of it. And I just kept moving. And it doesn't mean that you can't feel bad about things and you can't be frustrated, but like, guys, it's all about perspective. And so I started building from zero again, and people started posting like, where's Melissa Galame? How come Melissa Galame is not in my newsfeed? Can someone tag me in her new page? And then I was getting these messages when they're accepting, like, oh my God, my feed was so depressing without you, or hey, I'm really struggling with the decision to get sober and I was searching for you and we weren't friends. What happened? Like, that was confirmation to me that the message that I'm sending out there is serving people. And it is not just, you know, self-proclaimed, which obviously that's not my, every once in a while that fear thought goes through my head is like, am I making a difference? And that showed me it was. And guess what? Now I get the opportunity. I had like 4,000 something friends, which is crazy because I didn't know all those people. A lot of them were not my people. So now I get to go back because I do know my brand. I do know who I'm working with. I do know what I'm looking for. I get to go find those people now. So, and I'm already back to, I think, 999 friends as of this morning. So that was pretty fun. And the other thing is I got rid of a lot of the Beachbody coaches. Not to say that I'm not friends with them, but like I'll go follow them. I'll follow them on Insta, you know, but I'm building a business here. So being intentional. Okay, transition into the next one. How do I market go-getters, but not always being just so businessy? So I'm very direct. I don't know if you can tell, but I spent a lot of time not knowing what I wanted and really second guessing myself. And now that I do know what I want and what my worth is, I'm looking for people who are ready to rise up to their full potential and to grow and to build and to jump in with both feet. And I provide my team with lots of opportunities, which I'll go into that next. But so I'm putting direct messages out there on Facebook. Like, I'm looking for busy moms. I'm looking for people with very little time who are looking to supplement their income. I'm looking for people who are sick and tired of waking up and feeling disgusted about the way that they feel because they just binge ate over the weekend, or they drank their face off, or whatever it is, whatever message it is. Like, I'm being very clear and intentional. I'm also working with people in recovery. Like, that is becoming a huge part of my market. Like, this month I have 12 years clean, but I've been sober for 19 months this month. And that's a big thing. I'm also, you know, like I said, a baby Christian. And so I want to work with women in faith that are not only I can help them, but they can help me too. So just being very clear at what you want and who you want to work with. The next thing is I use Insta stories to my advantage. And I'm just going in every single day and making sure I'm having some sort of invite. I'm giving them a sneak peek into what it is to being a coach, what I do every single day as a busy mom of 3. I'm a sports mom too. I'm asking feedback on what they'd like to see more. So that has been a huge tool. And then I'm sending them messages like, hey girl, I've seen you watching my posts all week long. Are you ready to do this? Like, I'm being very direct because I know that I have an amazing opportunity to help them. The next thing I'm doing is I do 2 sneak peeks a month. So right now I'm doing a 2-day backstage pass. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 1, but I always have one the second week of the month. Like, people just know I'm going to have something like that. My team knows, people in my audience, you know, if they've been following, they're like, hey, when's your next sneak peek? I'm still thinking about it. And what I'm sharing in there, guys, is I'm just sharing why I got started, what we do as coaches, how we earn. I celebrate challengers. I do an income story, or I'll ask a coach to go live in there and share their story. And then I'm just following up with everyone. Like, what questions did you have? What stuck out to you? What's holding you back? I'm asking them the questions around fear and uncertainty. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to address that on my Facebook. So battling those objections publicly. That is one thing that I learned a couple years ago. It was actually Bonnie Engel. She did a training on it, and it just always stuck with me. If we're answering the questions that people have, but they're not asking, we're doing that work already. We're already basically getting in front of it. Let's see. Oh, and then, okay, so the other thing is I'm seeking out people who are going to get stuff done. Like, I'm looking for hustlers. I'm looking for people so excited about their work, and they're like talking about it. Because I used to be that person who worked in corporate America, and like, I celebrated my company. Like, I loved what I did. I didn't leave corporate America because I hated my job. I just hated not being home with my kids. And so I'm looking for people who have those same qualities. And busy people get stuff done, plain and simple. So that's really what I'm looking for. So the final part is, how am I helping my team and my downline? This one was like, I don't know, I just do it. And so I had to really think about it. And so instead of me just coming up with all these things I'm doing, I actually went into my team page and I asked them for feedback. And I just said, hey guys, I've been asked to speak on a mastermind call for corporate, and I would love your feedback to know, like, how am I helping you? And if you want to know if you're making an impact with your team, do something like that. Because I had never done that, and I literally was moved to tears. Like, people like 9 levels down, like, you show up every single day, you're supportive, like, you never push me, you're always here no matter what. Like, I never feel like my questions are stupid. And that was huge for me, because that's the type of culture that I have had a vision for. Like, I want them to feel so comfortable that when, like, life happens, like, they know we have each other's back. And on top of that, like, I give tough love. I'm very, very clear. Like, if Jessica, if you're on my team and you're like, my business isn't growing and I don't know, like, I feel like I'm working all the time and nothing's happening, I'm never hitting Success Club. Like, I'm going to your Facebook and seeing the content you're posting. I am asking you what personal development you're doing. What program are you doing? When's the last time you shared a transformation? And how many direct invites are you sending weekly? Like, I want to know those things, because if I can look at your Facebook page and you're like, oh yeah, I'm posting every day, but you're sharing videos of like that tasty, that company that makes all those amazing recipes, and you're like, that looks so good. That's not marketing yourself. You're not growing your business by sharing those videos. You're attracting other people to that site. You know what I mean? So if you're not making an impact on social media, like, how are people even going to know that, number one, you have a gift to offer them, that you have a solution to provide for them, that you're present? The other thing is, when people come on and off their journey, like, I'm very honest with them and saying, like, I don't know if you're serious about this business the way that you say you are. Like, I'm okay. I will love people where they're at. I always tell them, like, everyone's on the train. If you decide to get off at one of the stops, like, you're still a part of this, and we will come back for you when you're ready. We're not going to leave you. We're going to take you through, we're going to still post in the team page. We're going to show up in the accountability group. You're welcome to any new challenge group, but, like, this train's still going. Just like I said, when we didn't hit elite last year, like, we could have crumbled. We could have stopped. Our train track could have come to a screaming halt, but I didn't do that. I don't want my team to think that when things get hard, you stop. You don't. That's just a part of your journey. And now I get to teach that, and I get to share that, because for a while it was like, people felt like, wow, I can never do what Melissa's done. Like, she's had all this success in this short amount of time, and it felt almost unrealistic to them. But what they didn't see was the amount of work that I was putting in behind the scenes. And so I'm very vulnerable with my team and letting them know what I do, and when I fail, and when I struggle, and when I have anxiety, or when I want to drink. Like, I'm just open and honest with them. I have messaging pods for different levels. So, like, I have a group of leaders, and guys, one's like coach status, one's a fallen diamond, 2 of them are emeralds, but I still treat them as leaders, because rank doesn't mean leader, right? A leader is somebody who shows up every single day for their team. A leader is somebody who doesn't stop when things get hard. A leader is somebody who's resourceful and wants to, see their team grow. And I have people like that on my team. So why would I not treat them as the leader that they are just because their rank isn't there yet? I want them to believe so deeply in themselves that they can surpass anything that I've ever done. Like, I just told a girl in my downline the other day, I was like, you like get how impactful you are, right? Like, you could be the next Bonnie Engel if that's what you want. Like, you or Haley Christensen, like, you're the bomb. Like, own that. Step into your power. This business is for anyone, and I want them to know, like, they have that ability. So those messaging pods, and what do we talk about in there? We talk about, what are your goals for the month? And everybody posts it. We hold each other accountable. How many invites have you sent today? And it's going to look different depending on, a leadership pod, or a push to emerald pod, or help 3 people pod. But really just keeping communication. And that's an easier way for me to feel connected to them, versus hoping that they see my post in the team page and then they don't comment on anything. So, and then they don't feel so singled out when we're having conversations too. I do provide my team time to do one-on-ones, but going back to protecting my energy, I used to do one-on-ones all the time. It was draining, and then nothing would happen, or they'd like ghost me. And so now I'm like, if you want to have a one-on-one with me, you can absolutely send me a message. I will see if it works in my time. We'll have 20 minutes, and here's my business hours. Like Sundays, I don't work anymore. I will make my business posts, but I'm not going to get on a team call unless it's like something super special. I'm not going to hold a one-on-one. Like that's my family time, and I want to be respectful of that because I want my family to know that they are more important, you know, than this business. Because we all know that it's easy to get distracted and it's easy to stay stuck on our phones or in our computers or messaging. So just put up those boundaries, and then your team will start to duplicate that. I had people who were working 12 hours at work and then coming and staying up all night, and then they're so exhausted and they're not getting any results. And it's like, I was showing them like, you got to hustle, you got to go. Yes, we have to hustle. Yes, we have to work, but we also have to take care of ourselves. Let's see. I already said treat everyone as the leader that they are. Seek feedback. I kind of hit on that as well. Like, I want feedback from my team. That's how we grow. And I want to be able to give them feedback. And that's how we create that culture, is like an open feedback community where people aren't afraid to call us on our crap or say, hey, like, you were like all in and now you haven't showed up for a week. Like, what is going on? And I also make it safe for them to ask questions. Like if people are asking questions, that means that they are actually working and they're doing something. So like I'm not, and that I guess goes back to finding joy. Like I'm not going to get annoyed. Yes, they can go look in the facts and I will always direct them. Have you checked the facts? Have you posted in the team page? But I'm also not going to make them feel bad about reaching out. Let's see. I already said I'm not, no fluff. Oh, and then one last thing. Okay, so I've been doing something different. This goes back to protecting my energy, where I was doing everything for our team, like everything, all the trainings, posting national wake-up calls, all the recognition. Now I nominate a leader of the week. And it's so empowering to watch people, like, they feel honored that you asked them to do it. And two, to see, like, them put their own spin on things. And you can learn from them. And so it also protects your energy. Like, you're not drained. You're not exhausted from posting. You don't feel like you're the only one talking. And it gives them the ability, you know, just to step into that role and see if it's something that they enjoy. Because some people might be like, you know what, that was too much pressure for me. And I need to go back and I just need to be a challenger for the moment. Or I need to get this personal development book because I really need to work on my leadership skills. Or you know what, I just rocked the heck out of this week. And why am I not doing this for my own team? So those are my tips on what I do. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to help. But like I said, I just lead with your heart. This business will always, like, it's amazing. It's incredible the things that we can do. And I could sit on this call all day and tell you the things that it's changed in my life. And yes, I've had a weight loss transformation. But the real change is just who I am, because I walked into this business hopeless. I walked into it broken. I walked into it people pleasing and looking for a way out of feeling so crappy about all the shit that had happened to me in my life. And now I just get to celebrate that and just say, look how much I overcame, and you can too. Like, you can too. Anybody can do this. There's no reason why any of us can't be the next superstar or Millions Club or nominated for the leadership award. Like, whatever your goals are, just go for them.
Ooh, that was good. Okay, we have a question from Jessica. On sneak peeks, do you do them alone or with other coaches?
Okay, sorry. Yes. So one I do alone, and then the second one is team-wide. And the second one is generally an hour call where there's like 4 people on the call, and we're talking about, one person's going over how we earned the business opportunity. One person's sharing how this business has impacted them, you know, basically their story. Another person is talking about our team culture and what it's like to be a part of our team. And then somebody else is talking about our current promos and how to get signed up.
Great question. Okay, what else do you have for her? We have about 5 more minutes, so please take advantage of this time just to ask any questions. I mean, as you can tell, she's a straight shooter. Like, it's very black and white, but it's something that she's obviously has grown into, you know, going through the experiences and working this business as she has. So, I mean, this is your opportunity. So please do not hold back. Ask any questions. She won't bite, obviously. But what questions do you have for her?
I have one. Thank you so much, Melissa, for being on. You're awesome. Love it.
Thank you.
So when things kind of fell apart for you last year, I'm just curious to know what your mindset was on like second guessing your systems. Did you ever like backtrack and kind of tweak like your onboarding system or your, you know, new coach training or GSRs or whatever? Like, how often and what has made you reevaluate all of your, you know, kind of the flow of how you bring people in? Is there any feedback you can give us on that and some like wins that you've had with it and some, you know, like, or are you just consistent and just keep branding and finding the right people and plugging them into your consistent systems? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So first part is, I never doubted the system. I didn't doubt the company or what we were doing. I know that when people come in, we all get the same exact opportunity. And in my team page, I make it a culture where they can learn. They have an ability to do a self-paced training. We also have a 15-day training that goes on once a month. And so, I mean, we have the national wake-up call to the back office. So I never, ever, ever once doubted what we were doing. What I did was I just continued to love people. And that's really what helped me through last year, was that I knew that even with a couple leaders, people labeled as leaders, let's be clear on that. People who advanced in rank and, you know, worked and at one point really stepped in and, you know, partnered with me. I also didn't make it a big deal on my team page or on my social media, because I did make the mistake at the beginning of the year of doing that with somebody who was not even on our team, but it was a leader in the network that, I mean, a lot of us really looked up to. And it was a huge shock, like a punch in the gut that this person left. And I noticed when I posted that, it created noise and question on my team. And then there were people who weren't as grounded and, you know, committed to this business that did go with this person. And I was like, you know what? I just gave them attention that I didn't even need to do. So moving forward, I'm not going to do it. And then at the end of the year in November, when I had she's one of my best friends, actually, she left, and that shook me really, really bad. And she texted me on Thanksgiving to let me know what she was doing, which was really hard. And I drove home from Oregon and I listened to, what was the book that I read? Hold on, let me get it. I listened to this book. It was a 10-hour drive home from the Oregon coast with my 3 kids. My husband had to work, so he wasn't with us, but I knew that I needed to throw myself into personal development so that I didn't get stuck in the mud. And so the book I read was, I'm not finding it.
I remember you telling me about it, but I don't remember it either.
It's not even showing up in my Audible. This is weird. Okay, I'll send it to Brittany so you guys can see it, but it's a Brene Brown book.
Oh, I know what it is. Okay, keep going. It will come to me.
Rising Strong. It was Rising Strong.
Oh, okay.
I just, like, I text my coach, who's also one of my best friends now, and I was like, I'm just, like, I need something. And she was like, I want you to read this book on abandonment. And then, so I was like, okay, yeah, maybe I'll do that, because I struggle with a lot of abandonment issues I had from, you know, growing up. And, hey, let the dogs in. And then I saw that book in Audible. I was looking, I was like, no, this is the book I need to read. Like, there was a reason I needed to read it. And it was the perfect book for going through struggles. And it helped me more than I ever could have expected. So I would just say, like, I think I've just done so much personal development now. Like, I've been to Tony Robbins. I've been to Under Leadership. Like, I read like 20 books a year. I know how to pull myself out of that and like help my team through those seasons. And people are going to do what they want, but if I'm leading them and they know like Melissa's not going anywhere, we're going to be fine. Kind of like I look to Milan and Becky and Christina to tell me like, hey, we're going to be fine. Just keep going. That's what I did. But now if there's things that are rolled out, like I went to leadership and Michael Folsom had a really awesome like power hour, get your crap done. I will implement something and see if that works. And then Moira had a really great presentation with, you know, you roll that out and you see if it works. And then you put your own spin on it and you tweak it. And I mean, that's just my best advice. But I never doubted the company or anything I was doing because I didn't see myself as doing anything wrong because I kept showing up for my team. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, that was so awesome. And thanks for sharing your faith too, because that totally inspires me. So thank you.
Yeah. If I could offer, I know we have to wrap up here, a couple of developments that have been really impactful for me recently. So girl, go wash your face. Justin, you're probably like, yeah, I'm not going to read that. But maybe somebody on the team needs it. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. Like literally read it in a week. I text Brittany. I was like, you need this book. She read it in like 3 or 4 days. It's really phenomenal. When I first got started, I read You Are a Badass like 3 different times. So I feel like this is even better. It's so good. Also, The Power of Positive Leadership, which was a recommendation by Brittany. Super impactful. Really just, I mean, if you're and making sure that your team is taken care of, like you're going to be taken care of. And doing things without the expectations anything's going to happen in return, like way to look at things. Let's see, what else have I read that's really good. I do a lot of reading on sobriety and spiritual faith. Like that's been some of my most recent reads. I listen to podcasts constantly. Like just be a student. Some people, I made a post about this the other day, like some people binge watch Netflix, some people are gamers, some people get lost in romance novels. Like my thing is personal development. It's my jam. Like I love it. So.
That's awesome. Thank you, sweetie. Okay. One last question. Anybody else have one last question? Justin, Deanna, Alicia, Lacey. Anything?
I have a question.
Okay.
So I would say, again, thank you for being on the call and taking the time to talk to all of us. I know we all appreciate it. So here's my thing with sneak peeks. What do you do with people when they're interested in coaching and you don't have one coming up for like a week? Do you pop them into an old one? And then second question, what if they are on Instagram and they don't have a Facebook? What do you send those people?
Good questions. Okay, so 2-part answer to the first one, yes and no. It kind of just depends on if they're really ready. So if they're like thinking about it and they really are willing to sit and watch an hour call, I will pop them into our last group where we had that hour-long call where they can learn from other leaders on our team. And then be like, let's talk afterwards. But if I have somebody who like wants that detail, let's get on the phone. Like, I'm going to tell you everything about this opportunity right now. And I'll give you some examples or tag you in maybe some of my posts that I've made. But I just talk to them basically. And then as far as Instagram, I have not run into that yet. However, this week I'm doing my sneak peek, and yesterday morning I was like, if I started running a sneak peek into my business and started sharing, and that what I did is I took the graphics that I'm using in my sneak peek, which are all new because I lost everything with my old Facebook, and I just started putting them in my stories, and like then putting polls on it, and if they want more information, then I'm getting them in there. If they don't have a Facebook, that's a challenge I'm going to have to face because I haven't ran into that yet.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Thank you so much, everybody, for staying on. Thank you, Melissa, for your wisdom and just being here with us. I appreciate you. And I appreciate every single one of you, like I said, for showing up. This is our last call, obviously, until May. So if you need me in the midst of everything, please do not hesitate to reach out. But thank you again for the last 10 weeks together. And thank you one last time, Melissa, for your wisdom and for your time. We really appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody. Have a great day, okay? See ya.